Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. I'm going to do a service on my garage door today, and I thought I'd do a video of it. I took the remote out of one of my cars so I can easily control it. Now right now I have disconnected the latch there. You can see the garage door is trying to close and it's going to automatically latch now. I'm going to open it. You can hear it's pretty quiet. Every once in a while one of my neighbors will come over and they'll say, "How come your garage door is so quiet? Mine makes such a racket when I open and close it." It's because I do this maintenance that I'm going to show you today. I've got one little bit of a noise over on that side that I think I've narrowed it down just by my hearing. And also by touching the rollers to one of those two makes a little kind of a squeaky noise. So we'll get to that. The first thing you want to do actually is close the door. Well, you can do it open or closed. I'm going to close the door and I'm going to look at all the hinges and I'm going to basically inspect them for cracks. Now I have found cracks here on some of these. It's sort of normal, really. If they made these of a little higher quality, they wouldn't crack. But some of these, you know, the builders try to get away with the cheapest door they can that looks decent, and this is what you get. I have replaced a couple of these. They're pretty easy to replace because if you take this off and the garage door is closed, it's really not going to go anywhere, and you can just put a new one back on there. The ones that have the wheels are, you know, a little bit trickier, but not too bad. Now today I've inspected all of these. I don't have any that are cracked, but if you do, you want to go to online or go to your big box hardware store, and they have different numbers on them, or you might bring the old one with you because they're not all the same. You can see this one has a shape that's different than that one down there. So those have different numbers. The ones in the middle, I'm looking at them, yeah, they're pretty much all the same except for the bottom one. So step number one, check the door, all the hinges for cracks. We've done that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean these rails. The rails really shouldn't have any lubrication on them. They should just be clean and dry. But they get a little bit of a... Well, let me get a flashlight. There's a good example right there. The wheels, they're plastic wheels, will leave some tracking marks as they wear. And that, see, that's about a foot long. That's a rub. And what will happen? Oh, here's another one right there. That's a good one. You can, I think you can see that black mark there. It's kind of like a stop and go. It's like putting on the brakes as the wheel transfers from the metal part to that deposit that's put on there. So I'm just going to take some paint thinner and I'm going to clean that up, clean both the rails up, and then I'll come back. Well, I think Froggy already found his problem where the noise was just by cleaning those rails. It used to happen right around. Yeah, I still get a little groan thing to it, but it sounds a little better. When you clean the lower part of the rail, put the door up. When you clean the upper part of the rail, put the door down. Just make it easier. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lubricate everywhere that I have metal to metal. This is metal to metal. There's no bearings in here. There's no plastic. It's all metal to metal. Also, I'll go down the end here. So all those center type hinges I'm going to lubricate, and then also on the end here it's still all metal to metal because this is not a very expensive door, and right there, let me get a look. Right there, the roller, it's a nylon roller, and there's no bearings in there. It just they probably put some lubrication on the shaft to begin with, and then that was the end of it. What I'm going to use is this Tri-Flow, because it's a lubricant that will penetrate. It has a little bit of a penetrating property. I think previously I used some white grease. White grease is okay, but it doesn't really penetrate. Wherever you shoot it, that's where it ends up, and it doesn't go any further than that. So Froggy's going to try this Tri-Flow this time, and just going to shoot it everywhere. Let me just show you one here. Right there, and I'm going to take a rag with me, and I can wipe up the drips if there's any drips. And just going to go. This is going to take a while. You probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 of these to do. Okay? So I'll come back after I hit them all. I think we're getting there. Yeah, that did it. That noise is gone that I was getting bothered by over there. I want to show you how to check if your door is balanced. If it's not balanced, you need to make an adjustment on your tension spring, which is right there. I'm not going to get into that. There's a little bit of danger involved because the spring is under a lot of tension. Froggy knows how to adjust it, but I think mine is probably okay. Anyway, there's a release handle. Pull it straight down, and that will release the door from the opener mechanism. Alright? Then you want to lift the door up about halfway, about waist high. Ooh, that's heavy. There. It's a double door, so it's heavy. But you want to let it go then easily and see if it drops down. Now that dropped down a little bit. Let's go up here. Yeah. My spring could use a little bit of tension, but it's really not that bad. So I'm not going to bother with it this time. If I ever do adjust the spring, I'll do a separate video on that. But right now, it's pretty good. And when I push up on it like this, it's not that hard. And it doesn't slam shut. If it went all the way down from this middle central position, halfway position, then I'd need to do an adjustment. So let's reattach the garage door opener just by pulling the cord backwards, back towards the house, and that'll connect it again. And then let's see. Let's close the door. Oh, see the little connector? There we go. It connects itself automatically. Go back down. Yeah, sounding pretty good. Now the spring's got to be lubricated too. And I ran out of that Tri-Flow, but so I'm going to use some silicone spray on it. It's silicone will penetrate a little bit on that. I wouldn't use WD-40. WD-40 actually has a cleaning ingredient to it, and it will wash away any lubricant that you have on there. It'll leave behind its own lubricant, but it'll wash away anything that's there. So I'm going to use something else. So remember, these are under tension. See those little bolts? have red on them. That means danger. It's also got a warning tag on it here. So, and you know, in the state of California, I can't even buy one of these. If I go to a garage door supply store or a big box hardware store, they won't sell these to you. I think you probably go online and get them, but you know, the idiots in Sacramento passed a law, and the law said your homeowners are too stupid to play around with this, so we're not going to let them be sold. Figure that out. Anyway, I'm going to pour some, not going to pour, I'm going to spray some silicone on here. That'll prevent it from rusting. It looks like it doesn't have any kind of coating on it really, and it will soak in. What happens is that you can have little squeaks in these coils as the coils wind and unwind against each other. That's what they do. They wind. It's not a spring that goes that way. It's a spring that winds. So we're just going to do preventative spraying here. Now this part of the garage door opener that travels on the rail, it actually has a nylon insert in there, so there's really nothing to lubricate here. I'm just going to wipe down the rail, top and bottom. You can probably see the white nylon there, and it's on the top too. Right there where I'm flashing. So don't be putting any lubricant in there if you have this style of a traveler. So I'm just going to take a clean rag, maybe, yeah, I'll just wipe it with a rag. This is an adjustment for tension on the belt. I have a belt that's supposed to be quieter than the chain drive ones, but the chain drive ones should also have an adjustment on there. Mine is good, so I'm not going to touch it, but I just wanted to show that to you. If your chain is clanking around and slapping around, or the belt is slipping, you might try this adjustment before you buy a new belt. So let's see. Let's run this. And that also, it takes some of the harshness out when it opens and closes and reverses direction. See, they're all going to do that a little bit, but this one's not too bad. It's running pretty quiet. Here's one more thing. There's a cable that pulls the door up from the bottom. That cable right there. Actually, that could use a little bit of lubrication, not too much. Don't use grease or petroleum base, because it'll eventually attract dust and dirt and it'll gum up the cable. I would use some of that Tri-Flow. I ran out of it, so I'm going to look in my cabinet and see what else I've got that's like Tri-Flow. Now I'm going to use this LPS1. It's greaseless and it penetrates, so it's probably going to have a pretty close effect to the Tri-Flow. So whenever you have metal involved, those are your two. And the silicone is nice just to wipe things down that are really not a hinge. And then I did use it on that spring at the top. It will penetrate some, and it will help prevent rusting, especially if you're in an ocean, next to the ocean type environment, on the beach, the coastline. So let's spray a little bit of this on there. One more place that Froggy found to lubricate, and I'm going to put my finger on it. Right there, there's a bearing in there, a ball bearing in there actually, and you really can't get in there or grease the ball bearings or anything like that, but you could shoot some of that LPS1 in there. On this side is pretty well sealed. I think maybe the whole thing is kind of sealed, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. It won't hurt anything, and that bearing in there, it does a lot of work. And what I did on the cable, because there's no point spraying the cable, it's just the spray's just going to go all over your wall, so I sprayed on a rag. I sprayed the LPS on a rag and wiped the cable. Okay, well, Froggy's pretty happy with that. I'm going to call it a day. Now, there are other things to do with your garage door. As I mentioned, those tension springs up there. If the door is unbalanced, you need to do that. There's also a motion. It's an infrared, actually. These little lights down here. Let's see if I can get in close. And that light right there can be tested, and there's a reversing function built into the motor if there was something below that light. These are all pieces of safety equipment, but I'm going to do a separate video on them. This was just about lubricating the door, getting rid of noises, inspecting the hinges, and that's about it. So if this helps you out, give Froggy a thumbs up or a like, and if you want more, subscribe to my channel. I'll keep putting out the videos for you guys and gals. Froggy's out. See you later. Bye bye.